setup.
The animal inside got no resistance.
Andy!
Welcome to another action-packed movie recap, and today, we're diving into a story where immortality isn't a blessing. It's a curse. This is The World of the Old Guard, 2020, a gripping tale of ancient warriors hiding in the shadows, fighting for justice across centuries, and carrying the weight of time on their shoulders. Prepare yourself for intense battles, moral dilemmas, and emotional depths. This is a story that blends ancient pain with modern warfare, and proves that even those who can't die still carry scars. Let's dive into the thrilling world of the Old Guard. The movie opens with an introduction to a mysterious group of immortal soldiers who have lived on Earth for thousands of years. These warriors have fought countless battles to protect humanity, but no one knows how they have survived so long. The team consists of 4 members: Andy, Booker, Joe, and Nikki. Andy is the oldest and the leader of the group. One day, Booker and Nikki meet a former CIA agent who joins them to plan a rescue mission. A terrorist has attacked a school, killing all the teachers and taking 17 students hostage. Intelligence sources reveal the hostages are being held in South Sudan. Since children are involved, Nikki volunteers to lead the mission alongside the team to reach the terrorist location. After hours of traveling on foot, the team arrives and takes down several militants guarding the area. Outside one of the rooms, Nikki notices children's shoes, indicating the girls are likely inside. They break down the door but find the room empty. Suddenly, soldiers who were hiding open fire, killing most of the team. Just as all seems lost, a miracle occurs. Andy and the others begin to heal and come back to life. Before the soldiers can react, the Immortals launch a fierce counterattack and kill the entire enemy force within minutes. Inside the room, Andy finds a hidden camera, revealing that their entire operation was being monitored remotely. This shocks the team because it means their secret is at risk of exposure. Determined to protect their immortality, Andy decides they must find and eliminate the traitor who betrayed them. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, a military unit is conducting a search operation to capture a dangerous terrorist. During a raid, a soldier discovers the terrorist hiding in a house. A fierce gunfight breaks out, and the soldier kills the terrorist, but during the struggle, the terrorist stabs her in the throat. Noel stabs Niall in the throat during their struggle, causing Niall to lose consciousness and fall to the ground. Meanwhile, the 4 immortals traveling by train share a vivid vision of Noel, still alive despite her fatal wound. Niall also sees the immortals in her dream, realizing that the soldier is like them, immortal. This marks the first time in 200 years they have found a new member. Andy decides to go to Afghanistan to retrieve Noel. Joe sketches Noel's image and gives it to Andy, who then jumps off a moving train to begin the rescue. Niall and the others are puzzled to find no visible wound on Noel's neck, even though they believe she had been saved by them. Before Niall can make sense of this, an officer informs her that Noel will be sent to Germany for further testing. Although anxious, Noel has no answers to her questions. Meanwhile, a pharmaceutical executive watches the video of the rescue mission, shocked by the Immortals' abilities. He instructs his agents to capture them for research, hoping to uncover the secret of their immortality. At a military base, Andy arrives just before Noel is sent to Germany. She sedates Noel and takes her away. When Noel regains consciousness, she escapes by jumping from a moving vehicle. However, Andy shoots her, and Noel falls to the ground. Soon, her body begins to heal, confusing her about what is happening. In a panic, she stabs Andy with a knife. Andy then takes Noel aboard a plane where smugglers are transporting drugs to Paris. Andy's 3 teammates are waiting there. As the plane takes off, Noel, intoxicated, falls asleep. Taking advantage of this, Andy restrains her and forces the pilot to make an emergency landing. Noel attacks Andy fiercely, and they fight intensely. Despite Noel's strength, Andy overpowers her. Although Andy never wanted to fight Noel, she had to convince her to accept the truth. As Noel begins to heal, she finally believes she is immortal. After several hours of travel, they reach their safe house in Paris. There, Andy introduces Noel to the team. Noel wonders why the Immortals appeared to her in her dreams. Nikki explains that this was necessary to find her. They reveal that Booker was their last new member, joining them in 1812. Noelle's mind is flooded with questions, and she asks Andy how old she is. Andy replies that she could be thousands of years old, shocking Noelle. She then asks if they will live forever. Andy explains that immortality is not eternal, their bodies can eventually die, as happened to a former teammate who died after her wounds stopped healing. However, it is impossible to predict when their final death will come. Later that night, Noelle has a vivid dream of a woman trapped inside an iron coffin submerged underwater, repeatedly dying and coming back to life. This vision deeply unsettles the immortals. The movie continues with Noelle's vivid dream, where she sees a woman trapped inside an iron coffin submerged underwater, repeatedly dying and coming back to life. Nikki explains that this woman was known as Queen, a warrior who had been imprisoned in that coffin for the last 500 years. Queen was one of their own, the first immortal soldier Andy ever found, and who later became her companion. Together, they fought thousands of battles. At one point, Queen was captured in England, accused of witchcraft, and sentenced to death by drowning. She was locked in the coffin and thrown into the sea. Although Andy managed to escape, Queen remained trapped, and for centuries, the group searched for her in the vast ocean without success. Andy still blames herself for not being able to save her. Later, the story shifts to a violent raid where Andy's team searches for Booker, who has been gravely injured. Nikki and Joe manage to rescue Booker and bring him back, and his wounds begin to heal slowly. Meanwhile, the enemy forces track them down again, but this time, Andy is ready. She fiercely takes down all the soldiers attacking them single-handedly. Copel, the antagonist, witnesses Andy's strength and, feeling threatened, evacuates Nikki and Joe by plane to protect them. Meanwhile, Andy and Booker set off to find their other companions. They travel to an old mine, historically used as a prison in 1150. During this journey, Andy notices that Booker's wounds are not healing as they used to, which worries her. She visits a supermarket to meet a woman she knows and tends to Booker's wounds, realizing that her healing ability has weakened. Andy is no longer immortal in the way she once was, and she remembers a teammate who died because her healing stopped. Meanwhile, Copel takes Nikki and Joe to meet Mary, a scientist eager to research them. She subjects Nikki to several painful tests and is surprised when his wounds begin to heal quickly. Copel is impressed but cautious. The team is taken to a laboratory where doctors begin collecting samples from their bodies. Mary reveals her plan to decode their genetic makeup and develop a treatment that could grant humanity immortality, intending to keep the immortals captive until she succeeds. Meanwhile, the group tracks Copel to a location in London. Andy and Booker arrive at a house, but Noelle refuses to join them, wanting to stay with her family. Andy urges her to come along for safety. Noelle later discovers that her pouch, given to her by Andy, is empty and begins to suspect Booker. When she returns home, she encounters Copel, who interrogates Nikki and Joe at gunpoint. Suddenly, Booker attacks Andy from behind. When Andy questions him, Booker reveals he wants America's help in the research. He believes that if their immortality secret is uncovered, they might also learn how to die. However, Booker is unaware that Andy is no longer immortal and that his wounds are bleeding because his healing has stopped. Realizing this, Booker regrets his betrayal. Before more can happen, American agents arrive, subdue them, and take them captive for research. Meanwhile, Nikki and Joe are held captive at a laboratory where doctors conduct experiments on them. On the other hand, Noelle changes her plane and returns to Copel, who interrogated about her companions. Copel reveals that Mary and her team have taken their friends for research. He explains that Mary is only interested in discovering the immortality formula and does not care about Andy's good intentions. Mary shows Noelle the extensive research Andy has done, which has saved countless lives. Noelle asks why Mary treated them so harshly, to which Copel replies that his wife died of cancer. He understands the pain of losing loved ones and wants Mary to develop a cure to save humanity from all diseases. Despite this, Noelle promises to help Andy protect their secret. The team reaches the pharmaceutical company's headquarters, where Copel arranges Noelle's entry. Soon after, Noelle encounters 3 soldiers who attack her, assuming she is dead. However, she kills them effortlessly, revealing her true nature. The rest of the immortals learn about this attack, and a firefight breaks out. Noelle escapes to the lab and frees her teammates. Together, they confront Mary's guards and easily disarm them. During the fight, Andy suffers severe pain. Suddenly, a massive explosion occurs, injuring the immortals and trapping them. Despite the odds, Andy fights back fiercely with an axe. She faces a highly trained soldier and defeats him easily, demanding to know Mary's location. Copel reveals that Mary is hiding with some immortals in a penthouse. Nikki arrives at the penthouse and takes down Mary's guards one by one. Mary narrowly escapes, prompting the trio to chase her. However, Andy's pain forces Noelle to stay behind to care for her. At that moment, American agents arrive, detain Andy, and threaten her to cooperate. Before the agents can attack, Noelle jumps from the building, killing Mary in the process. Shortly after, Noelle fully recovers, and the team completes their mission. They return to their secret base and decide that Booker betrayed them. As punishment, Booker must live alone for 100 years until they reunite at the same place. Though saddened to lose their companion, they accept the decision. The Immortals visit Copel's lab, reflect on their past, and remember their long journey. Andy tells Copel that from now on, he will help them in their missions focused on the welfare of humanity. Meanwhile, Booker struggles with loneliness and turns to alcohol. One day, upon returning home, he finds his door open and, to his shock, sees Queen, the immortal warrior freed from her underwater prison. With this, the story ends. And that wraps up the incredible story of the Old Guard, a journey through time, sacrifice, and the haunting loneliness of immortality. Andy, Niall, Booker, Joe, and Nikki aren't just warriors, they are relics of forgotten wars, protectors of a world that never even knows they exist. While the world moves on, they remain, hidden in the shadows, silently shaping the course of history. But this time, their secrecy was shattered. Their code was broken. And what began as a rescue mission turned into a desperate fight to keep their legacy alive. Yet even when betrayed, hunted, and exposed to the world, they chose not vengeance, but justice. They chose to fight not for fame, not for thanks, but because it was the right thing to do. Niall's arrival marked a turning point, a new generation joining an eternal cause. And as Andy begins to feel the weight of her mortality, we see the passing of the torch. A reminder that time moves forward, even for those who never age. Every cut, every mission, every loss, it all matters. Because when you live forever, the hardest part isn't dying, it's finding something worth living for. If this story moved you as much as it moved me, make sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss another epic movie breakdown. And if you ever feel small in this world, remember, true heroes don't always wear capes, and some of them walk among us, invisible. But always watching, always fighting, and always ready. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and never forget, legends never die. They just become the old guard.